Today is going to be a very big day, and most likely we're going to see a lot of volatility tonight as Jerome Powell from the Federal Reserve is going to speak, and we are seeing so much mixed signals in the charts out there, and that's where we are going to have a look at in today's video. We are going to have a look at all the various charts, because some charts are screaming for a correction, some charts are actually showing that we might bottom at this specific moment. So guys, let's jump straight into it. So let's start again with having a technical picture at Bitcoin. And what we can see with Bitcoin is we had a high, we had a higher high. Right now it's consolidating, lower highs on the momentum indicators. Definitely not the best looking picture. However, if we can, for example, break above this resistance in the momentum indicator, then that will definitely unlock some new momentum for a rally right here. And of course, the moment we are breaking above 108,000 US dollars, this is actually meaning that we are going into price discovery, because we have never been at these levels before once we break that. And normally, guys, also at this point of the bull market, things can accelerate very quickly in a short amount of time. So I'll definitely expect a lot of volatility to the upside if we are breaking this all-time high. But for now, we got to be a little bit cautious with all the things that we're seeing, because we also still have, there's still a lot of momentum potentially to the downside, and we don't know, and this is probably going to be the most important thing, we don't know what Jerome Powell is going to say today. Like, if Jerome Powell is going to be very clear and going to say, like, we are going to cut interest rates, for example, in March, then that most likely will have a positive effect on the crypto markets. People and traders, investors will start to invest again, will start to take risks. But we don't know what he's going to say, because maybe he will say that, yeah, they are not going to cut the rates. They are going to wait with cutting the rates. And that is actually, it is possible that he's going to say that, because when we have a look at the S&P 500, we are at the all-time highs with the S&P 500, not in terms of purchasing power, like this chart, but in terms of level, we are at the all-time high. So he doesn't really have a very clear reason, or he thinks of a different reason to cut rates directly, because there is no imminent danger as of now. So for example, with March 2020, when we had this massive crash, that is a moment that interest rates are being cut, because there is a economical problem that needs to be solved. There needs to be money injected into the economy to solve this liquidity problem. That's why the interest rates are being cut. That's why new money is flowing into the system, and that's why the crypto markets and Bitcoin at that specific moment went up. So we don't know whether we need a similar situation this time, where we first have a flush and a reason to lower interest rates, or that it will be lowered with a different reason, or that it will not be lowered, right? We don't know that right now. So that's going to be very key question. But yeah, Bitcoin is definitely a little bit showing very much mixed signals, because we are in the short-term time frame, we are still in the pattern, but here on the weekly time frame we have clear bearish divergences, and definitely looks like that we could be seeing a further correction right here in Bitcoin. The trend is clearly to the upside, but also with this failed breakout that we try right here, it's not the most clean structure. But yeah, I also feel that these confusing charts that we are seeing is also part of the phase that we are in right now, because often after big changes, before a big event, many people are very much confused on where the direction is going to be. So guys, when we have a look at Ethereum is still in this pattern formation right here, so nothing has changed yet, and we can still break out to the upside. This one can still dump. Again, it's really going to depend what Jerome probably is going to say. This is the same with the altcoins. Right here with the altcoins, we can see that we are still in this pennant. And from a altcoin perspective, guys, when we have a look at this pennant from a altcoin perspective, because this is the total market cap excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum, from a altcoin perspective, this is actually not looking bearish, because we have an uptrend, we have a pennant formation, and the pennant often function as a continuational pattern. So this definitely can break out to the upside. On the relative strength index, we are still holding support. This is not looking too bad, and that is very interesting, because with a Bitcoin it's a bit doubtful. With Ethereum, it's a little bit doubtful, but with the rest of the market cap from the altcoins, it look more positive if you ask me. Then we are going to have a look at this chart, guys, and this is the chart that I shared with you yesterday as well. This is basically the stablecoin dominance, and this has an inverse correlation with the crypto market in general. The higher this chart goes, the lower crypto goes. The lower this chart goes, the higher the price of crypto. And like I said yesterday, if this would be an altcoin, or if this would be, I would be very bullish, especially when we break this white neckline right here. If we can break that white neckline, then I will get bullish on this chart, which basically is bearish for Bitcoin and bearish for altcoins, because that means that more people will focus their liquidity into stable coins. But another part that I wanted to show you guys is actually this one. This is a bump and run reversal pattern, and what we can see is normally we have like a declining resistance. The price is hovering around that declining resistance, then it gets a bump or a dump, goes a bit sideways, then goes back to the resistance, break the resistance. That's called a bump and run reversal pattern. And this is actually something that we are seeing a little bit right here, which is a little bit scary. We have like this hovering from that resistance. We have this dump going a bit sideways, right now breaking that neckline. One of the characteristics of this pattern is that we need to have a quick follow through. So when this is not following through today or in the next coming days, then it will become less significant, if you ask me. Going back to Ethereum, guys, I actually want to share one tweet from Benjamin Cowan right here that I found interesting, because he's already talking about this for a very long time. But let me just read his tweet. One risk for Ethereum is if the Fed comes out this week and says no quantitative easing, so no printing of new money. Maybe that would cause ETH to finally go home on its USD pair, leading the Fed to reverse course in March 2025, causing a quick recovery. This is a very interesting thesis, because this goes hand in hand maybe with that prophecy that I've shared in the previous video about a big crypto market crash before we can go higher. That in terms of narrative, this would kind of make sense, because when crypto markets will crash because there is no quantitative easing, maybe the regular financial markets will crash too. This will go hand in hand with a new crisis, maybe some new laws, some new rules, a new narrative that is brought to the world to influence our behavior again. But that will also directly be a reason to print money. That will be a reason for quantitative easing. So therefore, everything gets bought up very, very quickly, and then it's just a very short correction. This is what the prophecy said as well. It will be a very huge correction, very shortly lived. It will be bought up quickly. So when you are in that correction, don't do anything, don't sell. That was really important that she was saying. So of course, often when Ethereum is bottoming, then we are seeing, of course, also these tweets that are very, very bearish. So it can also, and that's a little bit the other argument, this can also be a sign that Ethereum is actually bottoming. But nevertheless, I thought it's very interesting to share. And he also really hammers on the fact that it's going to be very important what is going to be said today by Jerome Powell. Because if people will get the feeling, okay, interest rates will be cut, then people know new liquidity will flow into the markets, which equals that a part of that liquidity will go to the crypto space, which will just bring more confidence. That's the whole point. So when there is no quantitative easing, right, when there's no new liquidity injected into the markets, then liquidity can dry up, and then people are becoming more scared, and that's why they are not taking that much risk, and that's when we are seeing these events when things come down. So it's really going to be important what is going to happen tonight. Also, Benjamin has been talking about the Bank of Japan raised interest rates in March and July of 2024, and every time it raised interest rates in these months, the next month Ethereum went down and saw a capitulation event. Well, they actually raised the rates last week as well. So maybe we can have a capitulation from Ethereum in February, March. It definitely makes sense. So you can make the argument for this case that would be in line with the stablecoin dominance breaking out to the upside right here, getting that bumper run reversal. That's why I'm watching this chart very, very closely. Then guys, now a little bit more positive news, because I want to go with you to some altcoins, because altcoins, like I said, they have been bleeding very much, but they definitely present some opportunities for me as an investor that I would say, like, yes, this is definitely looking very, very interesting. Okay, so let's start with DYDX. This is a token that I really like. It's a decentralized exchange. It's based in the United States, so that's all positive. It has seen a correction of over 60%. Pretty decent correction when we go to the 4-hour time frame. We broke down from this falling wedge formation and we haven't managed yet to break back in, right? So that is definitely not the best signal. But if we can break in and we can break out, because we have, for example, these bullish divergences on the momentum indicators, then that can be definitely a very positive sign, showing a potential bottom in this altcoin, because we have been correct. This is actually kind of crazy that we are seeing right now. All these altcoins are bleeding. They're bleeding so much in this part of the bull market. We haven't really seen that in previous bull markets. So the altcoin holders, they are being crushed. And a lot of people saying, but yeah, there are many more altcoins, so it's more difficult to get pumps in a specific altcoin. I would say on the one hand that's true, but on the other hand, some people say there are millions of altcoins. Yeah, but most exchanges only have like listed 200 to 500 altcoins, right? So definitely most liquidity is divided between the top 500 altcoins and not the whole 10 million or 1 million altcoins. Let's have a look at some other. Let's have a look at some other charts. Like this one is looking very interesting and this is the reason why this one is looking interesting, because this one already broke back into the falling wedge, which we haven't seen, for example, with DYDX. So we have this falling wedge formation right here. We had a breakdown, move sideways, break back in the falling wedge with a very strong reaction. You can see very nice green candle. And the momentum indicators showing these bullish divergences right here on the 4-hour time frame. But also when you zoom in, this is also a bullish divergence, like low, high, low, 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 low. So that often signals a trend reversal. So that's what I'm saying. Some altcoins are definitely looking good. And if you look at this altcoin from and we zoom a little bit out and we just check how this altcoin has been behaving from the highs till where we are right now, it's been down for 72%. It has seen a correction of 79%. Well, any chart, especially in the bull market, if you are seeing altcoin charts that have seen a correction of 80%, and you still think that altcoin sooner or later will run in this bull market, and I believe this one has definitely the potential to run. Also, this is a pretty good sign where we have like a sideways range going from the support to the resistance and just like sweeping the lows right here, coming back in. So if you look at this from a investor's type of perspective and from a risk to reward type of perspective, this is a very good opportunity. But then if you put this in perspective with a big crash in the crypto markets, like which could happen, then of course I don't know how altcoins are going to react. We are also entering the phase where altcoins generally are going to outperform Bitcoin. Not necessarily on February also. Yeah, February is often a good month for altcoins, but definitely the months coming after February, March, April, and May. These are the historical altcoin season moments. And when we have a look at this tweet, for example, also from Benjamin Cowen, we can see that where we are on the cycle right now is, yeah, it really depends how the cycle is going to look, because this makes it also very confusing, because the 2021 cycle, we were actually at a top around the time period where we are right now, and the 2017 cycle, we were just launching off for one of the biggest cycles and the biggest altcoin seasons we've ever seen. So this is also very contradictory. So guys, I think we have to be a little bit cautious, but I would also say we have to stay very optimistic, because it's just a matter of time. If we do get that correction, maybe capitulate on it, take your chances, and maybe invest a little bit if you feel like that. But don't panic. I think that's maybe the most important thing. Make a decision, stick to that, don't panic. And because these corrections, if they will come, and that's a big if they will come, they last a short time. Often a couple of months later, we are back at the levels that we are trading right now. Altcoins have already been bleeding so much. I mean, if there will come a big flush, I would say that could come along with altcoins just leaving the space, because there is already not much liquidity in these altcoins. And generally, that's the good timing that you want to position yourself. Right now, I understand there's a lot of insecurity, but I think later today, things will get more clear, whether we will get first a bigger correction or whether we just take off from here. I think later today, tonight, when Jerome Powell is going to speak, it will become more clear. And for the traders, after, what we often see is right before the speech happens, the markets will react in the opposite direction. This is not always the case, but it's something that I've been noticing very much, is that when the markets are bearish, it often goes up right before or during the speech, and then afterwards, when the words are said, it comes down, and the other way around too. So that's maybe something to note as well. So yeah, guys, I'm very curious what you think about all of this. Like, what do you think? Do you think we are going to see that correction, or do you think that we have already seen that correction? I would say that the prophecy from Mom check-in was very accurate, because it depends how you interpret it, of course, because we actually have already seen a correction. Maybe the correction is already finished, but maybe not, and maybe we are still going to see a bigger correction. I personally going to play it a little bit safe right now, and I'm just going to wait till I get a little bit more clarity in the charts, because this chart definitely gives me a big warning signal. But like I said, there are a lot of charts presenting us with a very beautiful risk to reward ratio as well. So right now it's very confusing, and that's also what investing and trading is. There is never a clear answer. We just got to position ourselves for the potential waves that are coming. And right now for me, that's to de-risk a little bit. Definitely take advantage if a correction will come. And if things will go up, if the prices will go up, and we are seeing more of these altcoins breaking back into these falling wedge formations that I've been mentioning, then I will also carry on more risk, because those are very good signals. Okay guys, that was it for today's video. Hope you enjoyed it. If so, smash up the like button, subscribe if you haven't. Wish you all a beautiful day today, and I hope to see every single one of you in the next video. Bye bye!